Yo, Charlie. Sean.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, madam.
How are you all doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, fine, thank you.
I'm also doing well. So now we are about 10 on the classroom platform right now. So I guess we can start. I've waited for about 5 minutes more. So for the sake of those who have joined, so you don't waste your data, we are going to start. And let me share my screen first. And then okay, so please, can you see the screen?
Yes, please.
Yes, madam.
Okay,
Yes,
so we
please.
can proceed now. Okay, that's good. We can proceed now. Okay, so I think we are going on to lecture 3. Okay. So we are going to look at the types of entrepreneurial ventures. Okay. Here we are looking at the types based on the sizes, because you know that I guess you already know that types can be manufacturing, retail, or service provider. Okay. Next week, next time we are having the online, please come early so that I can use 5 minutes to admit members. Because when I start and I have to admit, it distracts my attention. So the first one we're going to consider is lifestyle ventures. Lifestyle. So these are called marginal firms or low growth ventures. Okay. And these firms are often small and they don't grow, they stay small. Normally, the way they were started, the growth will be very minimal, or the growth is very low. And they are often sole proprietorships or small partnership. They may not have employees, or even if they have very few employees, and they often serve a single market or may sell a single line of products. So, who can tell me which example of this venture in real life do you think you can give? A lifestyle venture, which is small, it doesn't grow, something like sole proprietorship, it can, or even a small partnership, that is husband and wife business. It often does not have employees, or if they have 1 or 2 employees, and the market is a single market, like they don't have branches in other locations. Okay. So, for example, is what? You can unmute your microphone if you want to answer questions. So, Asari Prince.
Madam,
Yes. Did you get the question?
no, madam.
All that I've explained about lifestyle ventures, what did you hear? And what is it about? If you are asked what is a lifestyle venture,
It's a type of business which like it doesn't require 20 employees. So then at times the business will not even have even a single employee. It will be a particular type of business that the company is doing.
okay, so you are looking at it from the employee level. That's fine. So I want practical examples. The lifestyle venture. So like the tabletop businesses, those who sell on tabletops, the kiosks and the containers. Doesn't this fit the description? I guess this fits that description. Okay. Who is trying to talk and the microphone is not good? Somebody is trying to talk. Okay. Let's go on to the next one, which is called attractive small venture or growth ventures. This one is the next level of the venture. So when the venture grows, then it's an attractive small venture. It's an attractive small venture. So typically this one, the owners may go to the banks for debt financing, like taking loans, and they often have some planning, strategic plans, and the venture can expand the regional or national level. That is, they may have branches in other locations. Okay. And the next level one is the high potential ventures. So these ones are the ones that have the high technology, they have management team, they will also list their shares on the stock market. So that these are the high potential depending on certain parameters that we are looking at. Okay. So, do you have any questions on this? Do you have any question on what I've just described? Okay, if not, let's go on to the next slide. I'm admitting students, that's the problem. Next time I'll see how I'll make it open. The problem is, if you make it open, other people join which you don't know about technology. Okay, so characteristics of entrepreneurs. This is our main topic for today. Characteristics of entrepreneurs. Who is a typical entrepreneur? So normally the question that is asked, often asked, is that are entrepreneurs born or made? Are entrepreneurs born or made? Okay, so who can say this question another way? Are entrepreneurs born or made? So if I should ask you, are entrepreneurs born? How do you understand this question? Yes, Dennis. And I'm wondering why you guys are hiding your faces. Let me see your faces. You have cameras. Why are you hiding your faces? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
So Daniel Jackson, can you answer the question? If you are asked, entrepreneurs born, do you understand the question?
Yes, madam.
And so what does it mean?
I'm not for rather made.
I'm not asking you your opinion. I said, how do you understand the question? This one you have deviated.
To my understanding, maybe like is it like in the form of talent to be an entrepreneur?
Talent. Okay, talent from
Yeah,
where?
from say like are they born? Say are they born like were they born to be an entrepreneur or they,
Doing the same thing that you are saying. Mm. Who else? I wanted to see your faces. So, hey, King K, come back. Okay, let me answer my question. That's good. Entrepreneurs born. That is, do they have, so like you said, talent? Do they have certain characteristics? They were born with certain innate or inherent characteristics that predispose them to become entrepreneurs. This is what the question is about. I guess everybody understands. And are entrepreneurs made? That one too, how do you understand it? Are entrepreneurs made?
Madam, it's like you teaching someone how to run the business. You are making a person.
So can somebody be taught to become an entrepreneur? Can somebody be taught to become an entrepreneur? Maybe through school, through mentorship, through experience, and so on. Okay, so that's how the question is. And then I must tell you that a lot of research and study has analyzed all these questions, but they haven't come out with one answer that entrepreneurs are born or they are made. Normally, they will say it depends on the situation. Somebody can learn to become one. That person can be born with certain characteristics that will help him be a successful entrepreneur. Okay, so different variety of firms and things and businesses require that the individual possess certain characteristics that will help him be successful. Okay. So last week, when we looked at the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur, if you remember, we said they were what? Mavis. Do you remember any of them? Mm. So if you are an entrepreneur, what disadvantage is there as compared to being employed by somebody? You don't remember? Mm. Michael, this is your Michael, what Michael reason? Mm.
Hello.
And
Hello.
Daniel, your hand is raised up. Okay, Daniel Jackson, you can answer the question.
please entrepreneurs bear all the risk,
The
and
entrepreneur
also they
bears
are
all the
also
risk. Okay,
and they're also insecure. That's it, they're less secured when it comes to security.
okay, good. So, looking at some of them like rates bearing, the career path of being an entrepreneur is stressful You see, all these things, you need to be committed. So it demands that a certain set of characteristics must come into play to help the individual. Because if not, of the stress, the risk taking, the commitment and sacrifices, you may not be able to stand the pressure of being an entrepreneur. So we are going to look at certain characteristics that are important. Mm, they are important. In fact, there are a lot of characteristics that the entrepreneur will need. He must be creative, must be even curious, a good decision maker, open to adventure. I have a whole list of them. Must be goal-oriented, must be self-motivated, problem solver, willing to learn, hardworking, confident, optimistic, responsible, and so on. And so all these characteristics are important. So when you are checking to see if somebody can be an entrepreneur, all these things help. But then there are 7 characteristics that researchers have come out to find out that they are very important influences in successful entrepreneurship. That means that they are must-haves. They are characteristics that whether you are born or you are made, you should have those characteristics. Okay, you get me? So those are the ones that we are going to discuss, those 7 characteristics that are important influences in entrepreneurship. Because if I ask you a question, which characteristic, tell me some of the characteristics of entrepreneurs. They can be anything. They can be anything positive, like goal-oriented, open to adventure, creative, and so on. But then, if I ask you, what are the characteristics that are important influences? They are important influences. They should, or characteristics that entrepreneurs should have in order to help them be successful in entrepreneurship. So these are the 7 we are going to consider. So the first one, researchers have come out to find out that entrepreneurs have a high need for achievements. They have a high need for achievement, or NH. So if you go online to research high need for achievement, you find that there's this researcher called McClelland. So he came out to say that people who become entrepreneurs have high need for achievement. So if there are people with high need for achievement, that means that there are others with low need for achievement, isn't it? So everything, there's an opposite. There's the other side for it. And what does it mean to have a high need for achievement? That is, people with high need for achievement are not often content with their present or their current, I would say, status or position. Okay, you realize that the one advantage for the entrepreneur is gaining recognition, gaining status in life. So, and also profits and all those things. So high need for achievement. Was it last week in your class that I drew the Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Remember that? Okay. And I was
Madam, yes,
saying that,
madam. Our class.
good. You see, I was saying that at the base, which is for the need for basic necessities of life, the basis of life, like food, clothing, shelter, and so on. So I told you that there may be 2 people who may start life at that level, but one of them can rise up throughout the steps and get to the top of self-actualization. Whereas
Yes.
the one with the low need for achievement can stay at that place throughout their life. So people with high need for achievement often have certain standards before them or ahead of them, goals that they want to reach,
Mm.
goals that they want to achieve. Okay, so look at entrepreneurs, the one who will be a successful entrepreneur should be somebody who has a high need for achievements. Okay, it shouldn't be the opposite. And there may be degrees between the high and the low. People who become successful entrepreneurs often have a high need for achievements. So that means setting these standards and doing their best to get to that standard. Is it well explained?
Yes, madam.
So let me move on. The next step is willingness to take calculated risk. Willing. It's not only the ability, but willingness to take the risk. Because if you are not willing, then your ability is not going to come out. Be willing to take the risk. And the next one is the fact that people who become successful entrepreneurs are people with internal locus control. People with internal locus of control. Okay. And locus of control means the degree to which an individual believes that his own actions or his own actions or his inactions or decisions can make his destiny or his life. That's what it means. So the people differ in their views of how they can rely on their own self to achieve this. And so, like I said, if you see some ways, there's internal, that means there'll be an external. So there are people with external locus of control. Such people, what do you think they are? Somebody with external locus of control. Hmm. Little Chili. Who is Little Chili? Hey, some of the names. Little Chili.
Yes, madam.
And what's your real name?
Michael.
Michael. So Michael, from the explanation, if somebody has external locus of control, what do you think the person is like? What are the views of that person?
Pardon me.
I said, if somebody has external locus of control, I guess you heard me when I described the locus of control.
Yes, please.
How do you think the person thinks? What are the views of that person concerning their own life, their destiny, their fate?
Please, they lack focus.
They lack focus.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Focus on what?
Pardon me.
That they lack focus on what?
On whatever they are doing.
What they are doing. Okay, we'll come to that. Who else can help? External locus of control. Oh, who is disturbing us? Mm. Okay, let me answer my own question. So I said people with internal locus of control believe that their own actions and behaviors are important and decisive. George Graham, you keep going and coming. They're important and decisive in what they become. So whatever they think, how they think, their behaviors have important outcomes on their lives. And they look within themselves to help them. So it's like they have self-confidence and they think they can help themselves. The opposite is that people with external locus of control rather look on the external, look outside themselves, that what happens, like events, time, decisions are what can shape their lives and so on. I hope it's explained. So if somebody needs to act and is waiting for another person to decide for him, sometimes certain attitudes we have, God's time is the best, and then you are waiting for God. God's time is the best, then you are waiting for God. Okay, so such a person has an external locus of control, or the thought that I couldn't get somebody to help me in life, go to school or learn a trade or something, then they are there doing nothing for themselves. Such a person has an external locus of control. So when we go to church, I'm not saying going to church is bad, but I know of people who would be praying for God to help them, but they are doing nothing. They are praying for God to help them, but they are doing nothing. Such a person has an external locus of control. But recently I found out that people who become entrepreneurs have internal locus of control because they believe in themselves. They have self-confidence. That's simply what it means. They believe that what they do, what their thoughts or their decisions can help them. They are not going to rely on somebody. So another simple phrase would be they are independent of others. They don't rely on others. Okay. And the next one is desire for independence. So it comes, they're all connected. Desire for independence, where you don't